All right, hello collective. I felt like making this video. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a minute as well, so I decided that today would be a good day to do it. We're gonna talk a bit about uh, why you would need a reading and really what getting a reading is all about. We're not gonna go full in depth in this right now, because I'm still learning, obviously. Um, but from what I know and from what I'm being taught and all these things, and not only that, but just as well as just all common sense within that sense within the whole realm as well. Um, Tarot is very different from tarot cards, and I know you've heard me say that a lot, but tarot is a form of religion, believe it or not. It is a way of life. It's an ancient way of life. Um, and tarot cards hold the images and imagery, the symbolism of life, including the planetaries, but as well as actionaries and all those things as well. And a lot of people who come into tarot feel like it's just some mystical way to talk to God, when that was not the intended purpose of tarot cards. In fact, tarot cards were made to reveal hidden secrets within a form or a medium of art, i.e., playing cards. If you look up, oh, excuse me, let me go get the deck real quick. If you look up Pamela Coleman Smith, the one who created the Raider White Tarot, you will find a lot of interesting things. A lot of her life, a bit about her life though, is she was a actor, very artistic, very weird, very out there. Um, and she also had a hankering for finding the truth in things. She was very observant in that sense, and when she made the Raider White tarot card, she had a lot of what life was actually about, like basically the guidelines to life. Digging back into ancient Egyptian and Sumeric, not really mysteries, but we'll say mysteries for like a better term at this point in time. But a lot of people nowadays are so they're not aware of what tarot actually is, and they'll come in and they'll ask for things for other people. Oh, they'll end up on this demonic egregore called YouTube or on the thing called social media in general, and hear a bunch of people who also don't know anything about what they're talking about try and tell you what's going on in your life with cards. And instead of in telling you what's going on in your life, they tell you what's going on in other people's lives. But because you're looking for an answer what's happening in your life, you then take it as it's telling you about your life, and it's not, because people are just talking about other people in the tarot scene. I don't know if people are realizing that yet. I've known it for a while, but I mean, it's just people talking about other people. That's all it is. And whenever it is talking about you in your life, they don't know a damn fucking thing when it comes down to it. They're just like, yeah, you're safe, you're protected, you have things coming in. Like, hello, can we start talking about the actual emotional side of things, the thing that we're not paying attention to, instead of drudging up emotions and feeding this egregore with what it wants and making your algorithm literally nothing but fear and or messages that you don't need at this point in time? Can we start focusing on like the higher vibrational part of these things, so-called higher vibrational? um but we have a few subjects to talk about when it comes down to this. I have a few subjects for why people actually get what they're actually looking for when it comes to tarot readings, and how to digest them in a more beneficial way. which really isn't possible unless the reader is telling you these things up front, because I mean, it's the reader's fault at the end of the day for a misconstrued message. It can be yours as well. Let me preface that it can be your fault as well, because you're also the listener. And if you're not willing to be open to any message, then you're just not going to get it. And if you're not using your discernment and you're in your ego, you're also not going to get it. So check yourself there. But the reason why a lot of readings aren't helpful or beneficial and they're only telling you about things that you don't want to hear about is because unfortunately you're feeding into that energy of knowing things that you don't want to know because you're addicted to it. Other than that, we have another thing about reading titles and how they attach to certain emotions and the best way to go about getting a reading um, as well. Obviously, the best way to go about reading is not listening to a collective reading. I'll put that out right now. Y'all would stick around for the answer later. We gotta play the devil's game a little bit, not too much. But the first thing is when you want a reading about love, a tarot reading about love, everyone wants to know, like, oh my God, is someone coming in? How's my love life doing? How's my ex doing? You don't care about that. You don't. You do not care if a love life is coming into you. You don't care about your ex's life, and that is the fact of it. But you have to understand this first, and I'll tell you the answer to it bluntly first, and then I'll go into explanation. Obviously, and the reason why it's some of those things is because you're not worried about if your relationship's coming into you. You're wondering when you'll actually be able to be suitable for a relationship yourself. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It has to do with you. You're wondering why you aren't going out and getting a relationship. You're asking yourself, why don't I feel loved? When you're getting a love reading, it's about you, not someone else. I was like, oh, is this person in love with me? Are they? You have to ask them that question. Are you in love with that person, or are you just infatuated with them? Or are you so derived of that emotion that you think common courtesy is a form of, is calling to a relationship? That's what you have to ask yourself. But people are very shallow in this day and age. And whether you want to believe that you are or not, most of the time people are. If you don't overstand it on this level, you are shallow within yourself because you're projecting it out on other people. Oh, I'm not going to worry about a relationship unless someone loves me back. You're not loving yourself because you're not allowing yourself to experience what love actually is. And in fact, you're putting love on a projected pedestal, so you can't receive any unless someone actually loves you. And because you don't know if anyone loves you because you're not loving yourself, then how the hell are you going to draw in love? You understand? It's all about you. And people don't like that because it's like, oh, it's not about me, it's about someone else. No, it's about you. You're wanting it to be about someone else so that you don't look like you don't love yourself deep down inside, because your soul knows this. Deep down inside, you know this. But when it hits that surface level, when it hits that brain, when it hits that consciousness, you're like, no, I don't like, it's not that at all. It can't be that. I'm fearful of that. In fact, you're so fearful of it that you ignore it completely. Your brain's a defense mechanism, and it will deflect and remove anything that seems like a threat. And when you're stuck in fear, that's a threat. And unfortunately, when you're scared of love and admitting to yourself about what you're really wanting to know, you will deflect it and act like it's not there completely. And I will say act, because deep down inside, again, you do know it's there. If you're worried about an ex in your relationship, you're not wondering if that ex has moved on from you. You're wondering why you can't stop thinking about that ex. Because there's something inside of you that's like, you know what? You're trying to plaster either a negative image on them or on the whole picture or on yourself due to that relationship, and you're ignoring the side of it that was actually good. And a lot of people go, there was nothing good in this relationship at all. There's nothing good at all. Then why were you in it? Like, hello, Earth to you? Why were you in the relationship if there was no love? Why did you stay in it if there was no love? Don't lie to yourself, and don't lie to anyone giving a reading about love either, because that's just showing you what you're doing to yourself. You're wondering why you can't find anyone like your ex. It's because deep down inside, you don't want anyone like your ex. Because they didn't. If you did want someone like your ex, you'd still be with them. You know what I mean? But because you're not with them, there's something inside of you saying you don't want that actually. There's something inside of you saying there's a better thing for you, but you're too scared to go out and find it because you're used to familiarity, because you're wanting something to be easy, because you know that they have hurt feelings deep down inside, and because you have hurt feelings deep down inside. And regardless of how you're facing it on the flesh side of things, your heart, your soul, the deep down inside of you know that you can get a leverage on the other person by acting in that sense. So overstand that heavily. When you're worried about love coming into you, you're wondering when you're going to go out and find love. You already have the love. When you're worried about if someone loves you as well, it's also a projection of, do you love yourself? What do I need to be doing to show myself more love? Why are you looking outside of yourself for everything that's internal? Well, A, because this world, again, has grown very shallow when it comes to emotional reciprocation on not only an external, but an internal way as well. And I will say right now as well, if you still are projecting the energy of, well, I wouldn't feel this way if so and so didn't do that to me, stop, because you're not seeing the picture at all. In fact, you're blind, and very deaf to it, because you are not giving yourself that love that you need in the first place. So how could you expect anyone else to give you that love? You have to look at it for like blank face with it. And it's like people want to say, well, people aren't ready for that. No, people are ready for it. They're just not willing to admit it. They're not mature enough yet. Their soul has not reached that point of their journey yet. Then this is what you really have to check people on. What's going on with the love readings? Why is everyone so infatuated with finding love readings and relationship readings? Because you have an awful relationship with yourself, because you have awful love with yourself. You hate yourself because you're not allowing yourself to live the life that you're wanting. And then you make excuses and scapegoat on other people because you believe their things are causing you not to, when it's really just you. A lot of people say, well, if so and so wasn't in my life, I'd be able to find love and I'd be able to do all these things. They're not in your life. In fact, the only thing that's happening with them is you being so infatuated with them that anything that reminds you of them, or anything that seems like them or reminds you of them, sends you down a loophole of them doing something to you, which then makes you feel weak and attacked and gives you a reason to not move forward. Because if your brain, because this is how your brain works. I mean, excuse me, this is how your brain works. If you're looking for a reason to do something or to not to do something, it will create events to make that happen. That's part of manifestation. So if you believe you're under attack, your brain will start making up scenarios to make it look like you're being under attack. Oh, you're thinking you're attacked under this one person? Boom, start having dreams about them to show you how much power they have over you. Not in the physical sense, but in the sense of your own self, in your own emotional realm. Oh, you feel like someone's stopping things from getting to you? Boom, you're never going to have these things now because you believe that someone else is doing something. And even if they're not doing it, it's your belief system, it's your thought patterns. So it's not going to happen because it's you at the end of the day stopping yourself. When you're asking for a reading about, is this situation going to come to an end? Is this situation over? It's really you asking, when will I leave? When will I get up and stop feeding the situation? Or how do I stop feeding the situation? The situations end right as soon as they begin. Do you understand that? A situation is over when both parties are separated. The only reason a situation would stay in action and in motion is if one party is doing it to themselves. It takes two to tango. And if the other person is not doing anything and you have no physical evidence, let's get down to the real books of it. If you don't have any physical evidence of it, right? Meaning you don't know if they're actually doing something or not. They're not doing anything around your property or anything of that nature. In your property, meaning your physical property, your mental property, your emotional property, where they're coming in and sending you exact energy, then that situation is over, right? Isn't over. They have to be doing something. If it's you doing it to yourself, it's because you're trapped in the situation still. A lot of people actually move on and don't care. A lot of people actually get so pissed off that they stop doing things, by the way. Like, that's a thing. And people need to be very aware of that. So when you are thinking that a situation is continuing, is it you or is it actually still continuing? And you have to get down to the books of it. You have to ask yourself, is it me that's over infatuated with it? Do I keep feeding things that keep talking about that situation? Do I keep acting out in the same ways when I'm supposed to be moving on and moving forward and healing from the situation? And why am I not doing it? Why do I find it so hard to? Are you not listening to yourself? Are you not being honest with yourself? Because truly and honestly, if you wanted a situation to be over, your brain and the way that you work as a human, as just a body, as the brain and the whole systems work, you wouldn't have that experience anymore. In fact, it would be over. Especially if you're thinking that someone's like doing something to you or projecting energy to you, that situation would be over because you desire it to be over. It will always be a part of you as it's imprinted into your DNA, into your molecule, your moleculic system, in your cellular system, I should say. Excuse me. It's there. It's already imprinted there. But just as the same as it's there, those cells also die, and you have to let those cells die. You can revive those cells by continuously thinking in new situations and bringing it back to life in the external to make it part of your internal. A lot of people don't like to hear it, but you're your own problem when it comes down to these things. And tarot is trying to show you that the way of life is for you to move on instead of being stuck and stagnant. But many people don't read tarot that way because they think that they're reading it the right way, or there's multiple ways of reading it. Yeah, there are multiple ways of reading it, but there's the right way of doing it, and then there's the multiple wrong ways of doing it. Okay? So a situation is ends when you decide for it to. Someone else could be going through a situation on their own and you have nothing to do with it, and it's still going on their behalf and not yours. Overstand that. So you might think that something's still happening when it's not. It's just you involving yourself within that energy still, within that old mindset still, that's allowing it to be present and still exist within your air, within your life. When you're doing a when you get to see a reading or get a reading about to see how someone's doing, you're asking, really asking, why am I still thinking about this individual? Is this person doing okay after what I did to them? Is what you're asking. Because you wouldn't have a worry about anyone else unless you know that you had some form of interaction and or effect over their life that would be either still in progress or have a lasting effect on them. You're only worrying about someone else as well because you're nosy, and you have to admit it. Why are you still worried about someone else's life? Why are you still worrying about how someone's doing whenever you already have no contact with them? Or whenever they say they want nothing to do with you? You have to allow that to exist and to be. That is their will. You don't have to stalk them and technically break energetic code, for those that are wondering. If you are worrying about someone else's life, it's also a projection of what can I do to focus more on my life? You're not seeing what to do. You have too much time on your hands to be looking at someone else. Where is your plans? Where's your ambition? Where's your goals that are being completed? Where are the things that you want to do? Why are you not doing those things? It's okay to, worry about someone and check up on them, but to go as far as to get a reading about what's going on in their life shows that you have nothing to do with yours, and you may even be subconsciously looking for ideas for things to do in your own life because you've ran out of ideas for things to do. There's so many ways that this could go with how you're, checking up on how someone's doing with their reading, but at the end of the day, you're worrying about how you're doing. How are you doing? You know that you affected them and they affected you. You know these things, and you're wondering, how am I doing? What can I do to really boost myself forward? Is there anything that I can do to really help myself out? What can I also be doing instead of worrying about other people to boost a form of motion or perpetual motion? However, momentum is what I was trying to say. Thank you. Momentum in your life. Instead of focusing on other people to do that, focus on yourself. Stop asking about readings for other people and ask it for yourself. And again, we'll jump back to love because I got a little thing for that. If you're getting a reading of what can you to do to draw in love, make sure it sticks with you. Don't be like, how can I attract someone to me? You can if they want you, they want you. If they don't, they don't. Obviously, right? And that goes for all situations and everything. Focus on what you need to do to draw in love that you want. You don't need one specific flesh to draw in some sort of fantasy or some sort of pleasure, whether it's sexual, physical, emotional, mental. You don't need a certain flesh to do that. Anyone can do that. It's up to you and really connecting with people again, rather than being so disconnected and not knowing who you are. When you're asking if anything new is coming into your life for a reading, you're really wondering, like what you can do to bring things in. You're wondering why things seem boring to you. Why have you stopped feeling inspired? What's going on inside of you that's making things seem old? How do I break out of these old cycles? Or you even might be trying to ask, truly, am I stuck in an old cycle? And if you are, how, like, why? What cycle is it? How can I break out of it? What cycle is keeping me feeling the same way? What actions am I doing day to day that still give out the same energy, make me feel less than? Is what you're asking for. So understand, when you're asking for anything in tarot, when it comes to anything new coming into your life, or even when you see videos of like, look at all these new things coming into your life, what do you need to do to achieve those things? Is what you need to ask yourself. And as well, are you being impatient? You know, I've been doing something for a while, nothing new's happening. Am I being impatient? Do I need to change something? You're not asking if anything new's coming up. You're asking what plans you need to have or change. Truly. But people don't understand this because they're so infatuated with blank statements or blanket terms, and they're not specific. um and as well, with me going live, part of that is kind of a little bit of a test, to get people to start thinking more and being more specific with what they actually are wanting and meaning. Because if you're on the lives or even just watch the replays of the lives on the channel that I've been doing recently, I'll always say, I don't know what you mean by that. I need you to be more specific. Like, what do you mean by that? You know what I mean? You have to have specifics. And that's a big issue that people have when getting readings in the first place. They're not specific. It's so vague. Anyone can relate to any reading that anyone gives because everyone's gone through a breakup and everyone's gone through people who have spread rumors about them. These are things that are normal for life. Sad, unfortunately, right? So why are you being so vague? It's abysmal. It's like scary, honestly. Um, but it shows a lack of competence, not only for the querent or the person getting or viewing the reading, but also for the reader because they're unable to actually dig into the depths of things. Instead, they just say the basics, the keywords, the make you feel good things, and lie to your face, get money off of it, and then you wonder why you don't have anything, and it's because you're taking bait. And it's unfortunate to say that. And if you are a reader and you don't want to, do that anymore, start being specific. Work on your intuitive skills. Learn what the cards actually mean. Stop going off of all these weird, like, oh my god, this is what that means and this is what this means. No. There's an actual meaning for these cards. There's an actual dead meaning for them. There are. But you have to go do studying, and that's again why I'm making the whole thing with the tarot card meetings. Um, and I'm probably gonna have classes up for it soon to teach a little bit of what I know from them as well. I might do that here soon as well because people need to start actually reading cards the right way instead of the other ways. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. When you get a reading or watch a video, when I say get, by the way, I'm gonna define this right now. I'm gonna preface this. When I say get, this either means you are getting, like, going to someone for a personal reading, or you're watching a collective reading that you're watching, right? If you find a reading, receive one, or purchase one about finance, what you're really asking for finance is, when it comes up in readings, is what can you do? And is finance really just money? Finance is a bunch of things. It's not just this physical thing. It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical, it's on all planes. So when you're talking about finance, when you're talking about money, and oh, you're gonna have money come in, what actions do you need to take to get money? When you are getting a reading about, like, oh, I've been low on money, I need to get more money, is anyone blocking my money? Yeah, you. You're blocking your money because it's your money. If it wasn't your money, then why is it, you would have your money if it was yours, right? But if it's not your money, then it's not. And if you're not doing anything to draw that in, then of course it's going to be blocked. It might be a blocked mental state where you're not agreeing with ideas being good, or you're stopping yourself from making those videos, or making the post, the art that you need to, because you feel like someone's not going to like it, right? So then, yeah, you're blocking your finances because you want to believe and have this whole weird contorted viewpoint of your things mattering to other people. Be a creator. Stop digesting so many other people's opinions. Just start creating. If you're wondering about your endeavors creating good finance? Do you feel energetically inspired? Do you feel inspired to do the work that you want? If you don't feel inspired to do what you want, then you're of course it's not going to bring in money. You can slave away all you want. What good is that going to do for you though? You need to understand that. Really dive in and delve into the depths of what you're doing. Is it making you feel good? What personal changes do you want to make to it? Stop, be for the people, but when you're for the people, allow yourself to enjoy what you do and allow others that enjoy that to gravitate towards you so that you can spread the message of do what you love instead of worrying about how other people feel about it. That's a good thing for finance when you're worried about finances and readings. What are you doing for yourself rather than for someone else? Are you truly living your what you're doing? And we can go into job for a minute. A lot of people get job readings like, should I quit my job? Should you? Are you in the right area to? If you quit your job right now, are you going to have enough finances to hold you over until you find a new one? And if you're going to quit your job, do you have a career or a backbone already to help you support yourself? Do you? That's the question you'd be asking before you even get a reading about should you quit your job. Because so many people will get like, should I quit my job reading? And they don't have a damn plan. And the things fall down for them. Sure, you can get the one person that will give you that right answer, but what in what blue moon? And most people that are giving readings are scams at this point. There's only a few actual people on YouTube who actually give readings that are honest and true and not projecting some sort of anger or arrogance or ignorance or past strife, and they're actually trying to help you move forward. They'll be the actual ones to jog your brain and, oh, but the Palladians, who gives a fuck? Are you working for the Palladians? Did the Palladians give you a paycheck? No. So why the fuck are you worried about what galactical force is sending you on a job? Why are you doing your fucking job? You have one already, which is to live this life. That's your mission, is to live this life. That's your mission right now, physically, that you're attending to right now, that you can pay attention to. That's it. Just go live. So it's like, why are you focusing on these external things? And oh, but the Lyrian said I had, okay, who gives a fuck? Are you talking to them, or did someone just say that? And if you're not directly talking to them, and here's the thing, are you talking to them, or is someone saying you're talking to them? Then you think that you're talking to them. Or have you been in communication with them before someone said that? That doesn't just be with Illyrians, that goes with all of them. Doesn't matter what race, extraterrestrial race we're talking about. I'll add examples here. Have you been in contact with them before someone told you these things? If not, then it's most likely not for you, and you're just picking it up because it sounds nice and cool. And then you wonder why you can't hear from them. They don't fucking know you. That's why they didn't call on you. You're just trying to stick your nose in a door that isn't for yours at that point. You know who's talking to you when you get communication from them. Trust me. So stop thinking that all these other things are talking to you because someone else is saying it to you. You will know. You would literally have full-on descriptions of, oh, this person's like this, they look like that, they sound like this, they told me to do this, they mentioned these planets, they mentioned these ores, these everything like that. You'd have full-on proof of it instead of going, yeah, well, I seen a blue light, so that means my Archangel Michael. Okay, and you know who else has blue lights? A bunch of other races out there. The one, like, Archangel Michael's not the only one with the blue light. All right, can we get real thick? Can we break this? I'm trying to break this spell. I really am. Some might say it's a waste of time, but I mean, because we're running out of time. Of course, we got 5 years to really get this shit straightened up. So I'm just doing my last bits. I've already broke this spell for myself. I'm already good. If a few other people want to tag along because we're doing it for the people, I mean, shit. If a few more people want to break the spell, break it. Come on, let's go. Let's keep walking, right? But understand that. The fun one is when people get readings about stalking. When people like, who's stalking me? Well, you're the stalker. First and foremost, because if you're trying to find out who's stalking you and you don't know who they are, you have to end up stalking them to find out who's stalking you. So you're stalking someone. And as well, you might just have paranoia or schizophrenic paranoia or something of that nature where you're looking for a scapegoat to blame issues on yourself when you're looking for a stalker. You would know if you're being stalked. And unfortunately, a lot of people who become energetically aware, when they start picking up on all the energy around them, they'll start thinking that they have a bunch of stalkers around them, when in actuality, they just can't control how to read energy yet, and they're just picking up on everyone's energy. So a lot of times people aren't like, being stalked is a thing, yes. But are you paranoid? Were you just, did you just hear a reading online about someone's doing this to you and then you just believe it? I mean, if you're worried about stalkers, I'd worry about how the fuck those people keep popping up on your For You page, and why this energetic egregore keeps putting you back into a fear feedback loop. I'd be more worried about that than someone stalking me, honestly. And as well, sometimes when people get readings, like someone's on your social media page watching you. Okay, do you know how many people do that daily? Especially if you have a YouTube channel. A lot of people don't understand this, but when you watch someone and when you stalk someone, they can come up the same way energetically if you don't know the difference between those two words and actually know what the word stalk and what a stalk is. And yeah, we are talking about it, STALK. Yeah, we're talking about that. Look up that and then look up watching. And a lot of people end up saying that they're watching you, and then you say that, oh, they're stalking me. No, they're watching your platform. Or they're just looking at images. Or maybe you just popped up on like, and this is the thing, these are just examples. I need people to get this in their head. Whenever I give examples, I'm not saying that that's happening for you. And I love using the Facebook example because it's very easy. And so many people are like, I don't have Facebook. Okay, that's cool. Like, that's not the point of the message. You just missed the entire point of the message because your ego and your arrogance wanted to kick in like 10 times over. But you might be popping up on someone's like Facebook page, or they like their name just pops up in your head one day, and they have old photos that they reminisce, and they have like, it's like your family who looks at old photos of you or whatever, or it's like a friend that has old videos of you and them hanging out. They still have them because it's like memories and stuff. People might say that's weird, but then you are the same energy of being weird towards the other person for wanting to relive what they believe to be a good part of their life. It's so weird. Like, so a lot of the stalking things that go on isn't even stalking. It's just someone stumbling upon you, or like they end up popping on your feed because they watched a video of yours at one time, or maybe they're just interested in you and they want to reach out to you, but they don't know how to. So they go to your media, your social media, to see if you're busy or not. They see that you're busy, and then they decide not to hit you up anymore because they see you living a better life or whatever. It's not always this evil. Like, people are so caught up with the drama. Everyone wants to be a victim when it comes to these things. Like, have you noticed that? Like, it's awkward. So many people are like, yeah, I'm under attack, but I'm still moving forward. Then why? No, you're not under attack if you're moving forward. You wouldn't be moving forward if you're under attack. Which one are you? Are you under attack? Or are you moving forward? You can't move forward if you're under something. You're under it. You can't move forward. You're blocked off. You're squished. You're below it. How can you move forward if you're below? That's what you have to really, really understand with this. I'm just letting y'all know these things up ahead. Next thing is black magic. A lot of people want to say that black magic is being used on them, when a lot of the times the black magic is your own self doing it to yourself. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's the truth, because a lot of black magic comes from you. When you say that you can't do something, boom, now you can't do it. Now all of a sudden things aren't working out in your life because you keep saying and cursing your life. Because guess what? You say that you can't do something and that you are unable to do something more than you like pray for blessings over your life. And that's something that you have to do on your own personal time. And if you're not talking blessings over your life, and someone says something about your life in a negative sense, then yeah, that's gonna come towards you, because they're saying your name involved with it, right? But if you're also doing that exact same thing that they're doing, of course it's going to hit you, because you're accepting it, because you become an energetic match for it. But if you're praying and saying blessings over your life, that's just not going to that's just not going to work. Understand that. A lot of the spell work that you're under is yours. Black magic, hidden magic, magic that is hidden, magic that makes things unseen, the unseen forces within magic. Hello? When something is black, it's not seen, it's hidden, right? So, hidden magic. You might not know that you're cursing yourself day by day. You might not know that the fact that you see someone and say, oh, they're doing something to me, makes their energy now more powerful than yours. And then they end up doing something to you energetically because you've convinced yourself already that they are. Overstand that. There's not actually a lot of people under attack of black magic in the way that's being read about. You're worried about black magic, but yet you're watching all these readings that cause fear. You're worried about black magic, but you're listening to all this music and on the radio about people killing people and shit. You're worried about black magic, but you're still following rules and guidelines that you don't even agree with that deep down inside of yourself. So who's doing the black magic to you? You, because you're involving yourself in it. Overstand that. So if you're tired of being attacked by black magic, then you need to stop doing something, first of all, because it's something about your energetic tie most of the time that's doing that. Yeah, some people are within like that type of stuff. That's on them. That's in their life. That's what they are here to do. That's whatever. But if you have no one around you and you don't know why someone keeps coming up in your energy and all these things, it's because they're actually not coming up in your energy. There's just something that you don't like about them, or something that you don't like about what they did or said to you, that you're then holding on to black magic. Spreading rumors and talking about someone in a negative way, when someone's talking in front of your back, that can also be considered black magic because it's hidden. When people lie about you, that's like hexing and cursing. It's the same thing. People take it to the extremes and think that everyone knows how to fucking like lift up a wand and do all that sort of shit. It's a lot more simple, but the fact that it's so simple, it gets deeper than that. And it only gets deeper than that because people aren't aware and able to comprehend that like it's words at the end of the day. When you're worried about a reading about trusting someone, you're more worried about if you can trust yourself. You're not listening to yourself, is what that reading is trying to signify. What signs of myself have I not paid attention to let me know that someone isn't the best for me, is what you're really looking for. A lot of people get readings for things they don't even need readings about. If they just took 2 seconds to look at themselves, you wouldn't need that reading. But people aren't advanced like that yet. Some people just aren't, and the main reason why is because they're underneath this spell of that the fucking tarot scene and the conscious collective and the spiritual community has put under people, because the spiritual community is just the religious community a little bit hidden. You can't, it's the same thing. Trust me, I've been there, done that. So when you're asking if you can trust someone, you're really asking, how can I listen to myself more? What signs do I need to be paying attention to? And what things do I not agree with wholeheartedly that will allow me to know if someone actually is for me or if someone's against me? And not even against you in the sense of like they're your op or they're your enemy, but in the sense of, what can I do to make sure that I don't slip up and allow something that I don't desire in my life? How can I strengthen up my boundaries more? How can I allow myself to really stay grounded and stay solid in my own life, in my own ordeals, in what I desire to do when it comes to someone else? When you're and then when you're getting your reading about what to do next, you're really asking, what can you do next? It's when you feel like you've done everything and you may be ignoring a little bit of what you're desiring to do at the end of the day when it comes to that. But what can you do next? You're really seeing and asking for ideas. What ideas can you receive from the divine? What ideas have you not paid attention from the divine yet? All these things. So really, really pay attention to these things. Look at these things in different lights. So as well with what to do next, you could also be asking not only for ideas, but for what steps would be the most beneficial. You usually, when you're asking for what to do next, you've already been faced with a few ideas, and you're just wondering what I could do next. So, especially if you are going to get a reading on what to do next, ask if you already have a few things on your mind of what you could do. Place those out, write them down, as for the pros and cons of those things, so that you can truly see what is best for you and what isn't best for you at that time. The next section we're talking about is reading titles, um, and how they attach to certain emotions. The first, and we're gonna give a few. I mean, obviously, a few examples and stuff, just to give you more clarification of what's going on and what's going on with that. When you find readings, you taught blank a lesson. There's a few things that these types of titles latch onto. And first and foremost, your ego loves to latch onto these things as a matter of boasting, because you'll see so many people go, haha, yeah, I told this person that. I knew this already. I told them that this was going to happen. And all these things happen. It gives that. It gives the energy of you feel bigger, like you're the bigger person, because you've been hurt and stomped on so many times in your past that now that someone's learned a lesson from you, now you feel a bit better. Now, there are some that have remorse and they're like, well, I told them these things and they shouldn't have gone through it. And that's dragging out that emotion of um, telling you at least that you've done something right. At the end of the day, everyone teaches everyone a lesson, whether they're aware of it or not. So these readings are very interesting. These titles, I should say, are very interesting to see, because you teach yourself a lesson while even watching those videos. But why are you so worried about teaching someone a lesson when you yourself can't even learn a lesson in regards of it as well? And that's something you really have to ask yourself. Why are you attaching yourself to these types of titles that have this energy of, look at you, like, look how strong and big you've become, rather than understanding that you've already known these things? You shouldn't be worried about teaching people a lesson. You should be more worried about testing the spirits around you and making sure that you're learning your lessons. Why are you so infatuated with other people learning their lessons? You can't control that. You're not even learning your lesson from being in an interaction with that individual. And it comes from that point of like self-projected energy, where you're wanting to feel like you've done something, or feel like someone got what they deserved, or something of that nature. It's a very low vibrational energy when it comes down to it. And a lot of people won't admit that, but unfortunately, it is. Another title are the videos called "You Dodged a Bullet." Now, we're going to talk about these because these tie on to the emotion of fear, also of expectancy. At the end of the day, we shouldn't need other people to tell us that we dodged a bullet. You would be able to tell based off of your reactions and someone else's reactions and their life choices and your life choices. But a lot of people jump into these readings of, oh, you dodged a bullet, so and so is this way and that way, because you're also looking for that gratification of knowing how someone was, when at the end of the day you already knew it. You just weren't accepting it because you were in denial of yourself still. So understand that as well. A lot of people don't see how these titles like latch onto you. What does dodging a bullet mean? It means avoiding some form of danger, right? And with bullet, it's urgent danger. It's danger coming at you quickly. You really have to understand you wouldn't need to dodge a bullet if you paid attention to yourself. And a lot of times when you get people who get those readings of, oh, you dodged a bullet, are now in the energy of being so scared to where they're unable to leave because they think everyone's a shooter out in the world, rather than realizing that these are just lessons to show you how to trust yourself a bit more. When you receive readings, Let's say someone from your past, or blank wants to come back, or blank feels this way about you still. Just avoid those. Just avoid those. Those are drama readings. Those are what I would call, in collective terms, karmic readings, because it's teaching you a lesson of why the fuck you're so worried about someone else still. Like, damn, if you don't want someone to come back, you don't have to let them. But if you keep involving yourself in the energy of someone's coming back, guess what that's going to do? That's going to put you into your lower chakra energies. That's going to make you feel scared. That's going to make you feel uninspired. That's going to make you feel grossed out and like, ew, why do they want me back? And oh, but I don't want them back, and I've already told them not to come back, and all these things. Well, good, then they don't have to come back. Come back where? Where are they going? Where is back? Is your name back? Do they want to come to back? Who's who? Where is back? Back to you? But you already said you didn't want them. So how the hell are they going to come back to you if you don't want them? Unless you like succumb to, unless you go to them first. It's like, why are you so worried about someone coming back to you when you already said you don't want them to? It's you. You're so infatuated with that person because you still love them deep down and you won't admit it to yourself. So instead, you watch these videos that project it out and how someone else wants to come to you, so you feel gratified, like, oh, well, they still like me too, I'm glad, but I don't want them because they were mean to me. You're being mean to yourself by indulging in that energy. And when you watch readings that say now someone feel like blank feels this way about you, why do you care about how someone that you don't, or that you're not around, feels about you? Why? And we'll take it a step further with the readings that go, a rich man or a rich woman has their eyes on you. Rich in what? Rich in spirit? Rich in money? What are you talking about? Is their name Rich? Do they come from a wealthy lineage? These are fucking so vague words that people just like, wow, someone rich is watching you. Yeah, the government. If you're gonna go off finances, the government's pretty fucking rich. They watching you too. You got people who are rich in spirit. And then you're waiting on some sort of millionaire just to pop up out your door and knock on your door with the roses in your hands. Like, I wonder how they're going to find me if they don't even know my address or anything. Because they're not going to get to you. Because they don't know you. Because you don't even know them. And they haven't took the chance. Like, y'all, are y'all okay? Out in the world, I know it's not everyone, but I have to, like, are y'all okay out in the tarot world? Are you guys good? Because it doesn't seem like y'all know what you're doing half the time. I gotta keep it a buck. Like, honestly, are you guys okay? I have to ask because there's so many like vague titles. And then there's these readings that go, if you find this, then it means blank. No, damn, it doesn't mean anything. It means the algorithm knows what type of readings you like. It is going to keep feeding you the same food over and over again because you're reluctant to change. And it's going to give you a reason of why not to change. Oh, if this reading finds you, then you're meant to find $1 million. Okay. Awesome. When will I, like, I'm gonna find $1 million? Awesome. I'm meant to find it. Cool. That's all I care about. I'm not gonna watch your silly like 16-minute video of other people in my life doing things and how it's not gonna affect me. Because you're at that point, I'm wasting 16 minutes of my time to know that I'm about to stumble upon a jackpot. You know what I mean? When you okay, and this is I love seeing these titles. The titles of like, only you are meant to hear this reading, but no, you fucking weren't. No, you weren't. Who the fuck's? Okay, first of all, I have to joke about it because it's comical. But the people who really do fall for the titles of only you are meant to hear this, I have to point it out to you. I really, 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 really have to point it out to you. How are there thousands of views? How are there hundreds of views and comments on a video only you were supposed to see? I'm gonna wait for an explanation. And people might go, well, how do you know it's not for you if like someone just pops up and does their reading? Like, how do they know it's not for them? Well, because A, it wasn't directed directly towards them, and B, your ego likes to feel important. It will make you feel like you're the center of that reading whenever it's not for you at all. And then you'll read it and you'll watch it, you'll get false hopes, and you'll stop doing what you were supposed to be doing in order to wait for another plan. And then that doesn't work out, and then you jump back on your other plan, and it's too late to do things, and you end up in a cycle where you feel left behind and lacking because you weren't sticking to your own path. Overstand that, please. Another titles like this is like your ancestors have blank message for you. How do they know your ancestors? My ancestors are not your ancestors. I have ancestors that you don't have, and you have ancestors I don't have. So how in the fuck does someone I don't even know have a message from my ancestors? I need to know this. I don't trust anyone because like your ancestors have this message for you. No, if they did, they'd let me know. They would send me a sign and then I would pay attention to it. And if I needed to after that, I'd get a reading on it because I'd receive these signs all the time. And if I'm not paying attention or unable to hear it, then I'll get a reading or ask someone else to tell me what messages they have. But I'm not going to go on YouTube and look up what messages my ancestors have for me and then let my brain decide what video makes me feel the best. Overstand. Like, here's the thing, if they know your ancestors, name them. And second of all, how do you know your ancestors? Do you know your bloodline? That has a lot to do with your ancestors, is your blood lineage. So who was the flesh before your flesh? You have to look at these things. And there's so many people that fall for these like ego trapping titles. They attach to this need, this I need answers, and then something very vague pops up. It's like, oh, this sounds like something I've gone through before, so that has to be for me. It doesn't have to be for you. It could be for someone else. This is the issue with collective readings. It's a collective of what? A collective of people still trying to heal from trauma, heal from a relationship abuse, or something of that nature, and they need to still heal from it. Meanwhile, you're already over it, so then you're indulging yourself in readings that don't even have anything to do with you, but because you're looking for a collective to fit in instead of being who you are and existing in that sense, you now are identifying with other things and other energies that don't resonate with you, and now you feel like someone or something's coming back and doing things, or now you're getting the incorrect messages, all because you didn't take a few seconds to really sit down and think like, how does this message relate with me? You really have to do this, and people don't like people like it's awful. It's awful. But the only best way of getting your reading is not doing a collective reading. Get a private reading. Get a private reading. Collective readings, they're cute. They're cute. Yeah, they can help a little bit, but when it comes down to your situation and your specifics, a collective reading is not going to help you. It's so vague. It's so vast. They don't give much information. They might say a name that resonates, sure, but who else has that name? Who else has that name? First name or last name? And people don't like putting logic to it because apparently the spiritual community, the way it is now, doesn't believe in logic, and they think, oh, you're too grounded. You need to be loopy and like not meant. You need to forget like that this world is physical that we're on, and like I don't know. People just got to remember like what's actually going on and what this is a battle of. This is a battle of spirit. And just because a spirit's feeding you things that you enjoy does not mean it's good. Okay? And a lot of people are confused and stuck in these loops of not knowing what's going on around them and things because they refuse to follow the rules. And at the end of the day, you can do your own readings. You don't need cards. You don't need to buy a deck of cards to do so. You can just draw or write on a piece of paper all the tarot cards. You can do that. You could read bones. You can throw stones. You can do all sorts of other things. It's not that hard. When it comes down to it, it's about you and your life. Sure, people have the gift to read for a collective, but what collective are they reading for? A collective of people that's gone through the same problems that they've gone through, and they need to heal from the same things they need to heal from. And until they've actually decided to sit down and heal from those things, they're not going to stop talking about it because they believe that's what's going to help them heal from it. When it can, but at the end of the day, repetition is key. A key to what? A key can lock a door and a key can open a door. Are they opening a door to let someone feel fearful, or are they locking and closing a door for someone? And is the person who has the key to open or close things, are they taking the due diligence on their half to shut that door and keep it locked, or are they opening up the door again at later dates? That's what you have to ask yourself about this. But I wanted to make this video because we got to start talking about it, because a lot of people are going to get left behind, and it ain't going to be funny, because they're going to be wondering what the hell's going on, and now they're not going to have the answers. They're going to be stuck in a loop, you know? So just understand. And this is not to say that tarot is fake. Tarot is not fake. It's real. Magic's real, tarot is real, all this stuff is real. It's very effective for your life and stuff. But if you do not know the difference between a message that's for you and a message that your ego wants to grab onto for justifications on your own bad agreements and situations for your own self, then issues are going to arise. So understand that. Focus on the truth of things. Don't focus on the lies. A lie will be so, people love lies because lies are so easy just to buy and to fall into. Like, yeah, you know, all these lies are happening, so they make me feel better. No, know the truth always. But this is a video I wanted to make. I love you all so much. To the moon and back, tenfold and forever. Please share this around. Please just start sharing these things around. At some point, I don't know. I'm just gonna say this, like, YouTube needs help when it comes down to this stuff, because we have so many people spitting lies and saying things that don't exist, and just spreading falsities that whenever the truth comes along, it seems like lies, and it seems like arrogance, and it seems like all these things. But the truth is so solid that those who have no solidity in them will start to malfunction. A lot of people are robots and AI when they buy these things, who don't actually look into the truth of it. The same goes for people that are like, there's different dimensions. Explain to me a different dimension without using 3D qualities, and I'll understand it. And we'll move on from that. But until someone can come to me personally and explain to these things without using definitions and using things that we can do right now, I ain't gonna believe a damn fucking thing. And that's just the thing. If you can't prove it, it's not real. And you really have to start getting into that mindset. Go to Nuwapu, get right knowledge, go to the description, Malachi Z York books. They're all in there. There's a bunch of videos in there. There's a bunch of tapes in there if you don't want to read. There's audio tapes. There's videotapes. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Go get it. Go. You want the truth. You want to start fixing your life. You want to start breaking spells over your life. Start learning. Start studying. Start taking things for how they are, and start putting two and two things together. Everyone is going through almost the same stuff every damn day, because we're all here experiencing the same thing. Why do you think you're so special at the end of the day when it comes down to it? You're not. Move forward with your life, become that special individual that you're wishing to be, but don't let someone online who you don't even know make you feel like you've grown to something special. Yes, tarot is a gateway, but it's not for you to stay there and be stuck. It's for you to see the truth of life so that you can move on with a smarter, more aware life. And not many people make it past that point. They just stick with it and remain blind because they don't move on with their own stature. But regardless, I love you all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. Share this around, get people to know some shit, get them to wake up. I will see you all later, though. Please take care.